I fucking hated it. I fucking hated it.
Bad? Was it that?
I really don't like it. I don't like it. It sounds like it belongs on a fucking The Vamps album or a Jonas Brothers single. Some of those songs, genuinely, didn't like it.
All of them.
High Diving and Fuck You Money, probably specifically.
Yeah.
Everything we need sounded like a goddamn Avril Lavigne song. Like literally, this sort of started, and I was like, "Is this complicated?" I was expecting her to come in and be like, "Life's like this, and you fall, and you call, and you break," and it's just like it was not my cup of tea. That's me done.
That's fair enough, really. I mean, personally, I enjoyed some tracks. You know, Last Chance to Dance. Bad Friend. It's actually a really good song. I liked it. But then again, it sounded like it could have been on Common Courtesy or What Separates From Me to You. And I don't think it's anything new, personally. It sounds like any.
Really a bad thing compared to some of the stuff that's on here.
Yeah, you're right. That's why I like the track. And the same with Mind Reader is a good song. Resentment, obviously. And one of the other ones I thought was quite good was Brick Wall. The original, the starting song, but only because they had that kind of like the build up was really cool and it was a heavy breakdown, and then like it came into Father Brick. Whoa, that was really cool, that bit, and it sounded very A Day to Remember, and I like that. But I wish the whole album was in that style, to be honest. And if it was in that style, I would have liked it more. You know, like Mind Reader, I really liked. Bloodsucker was weird to start with. I thought it was like a Justin Timberlake or like Bruno Mars song. It was really weird. I didn't really get it. And then when he comes in with Bloodsucker, it was actually really, really cool. And I like that bit as well. But it kind of ruined it when the chorus came in. Whoa. I was like, all right, what the hell is this kind of thing?
Mind Reader was definitely the best song.
Yeah. No, so I think Mind Reader was a different kind of song compared to what they did in other albums and even in this album. And I think it was really a great song. I like that it's a bit different. And you know, like you guys were saying, it's a bit weird. I think the first half of the album had really good potential. And I think there were some great songs on there. Like Mike was saying, Brick Wall starts really, really well. Mind Reader, I think it kicks off the album. It's not necessarily a great song, but I think it kicks off the album well.
Yeah, definitely.
Mind Reader is fantastic. I think if they kept doing that, it's sort of an update to the Day to Remember sound.
Completely agree.
But I think it was good. Bloodsucker, to me, almost sounded like, oh, we wrote Mind Reader. It works with that one word thing. Like, I'll never be your mind reader. And it felt to me like, I don't even remember Bloodsucker. It could be, you know, I'm never going to be your bloodsucker could be the song. Again, like what I said with Atreyu, it's quite Imagine Dragons-y to me. It's kind of generic pop rock, the kind of stuff that goes now when people say rock is dead. This is what it reminds me of.
You're completely right.
Is good. It's a good song. Resentment is a tune, but again, like the others, I think all the trap beats and the claps and it just sounds generic.
I agree.
Talk.
And going back to what you said, Jacopo, it is definitely fueled by ramen.
I'm gonna go open for Shan. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'll keep talking.
No, keep talking. I'll just go open. I'm gonna mute it and then I'll be back in a sec.
Ben, what were you gonna say?
That it definitely sounds like a fueled by ramen release.
Yes, you're completely right. And you know what? That seems like the way they're gonna go. And if they're gonna go down this with what I found with this album specifically, the latter half of the album, like Jacopo was saying, but I'm gonna specifically call it. It sounds like B-sides. They don't sound like like a great album. You know, Degenerates sounds like an old A Day to Remember album song, which is fantastic. You know, that's what we all like. But realistically, they haven't evolved in anything different. The Degenerates just sounds like what they've done is they go, all right, well, we know that sells and we know that's a style that everyone likes, so let's go with it because it's comfortable. but then they've started like Viva La Mexico sounds like it definitely.
That was a weird one.
That was a weird one because don't get me wrong, it's catchy, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's an album song personally.
No, I completely agree. I think, as you say, I think at the moment this is a really, 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 really big assumption, and it's not one that I should make really, but since I am making it, I'm gonna make it. Sounds like the kind of, and this happens a lot with bands, doesn't it? But the love of it is probably the wrong term. The sort of novelty of it, I think, is wearing off. Probably got families now. When they go touring, it's probably more of a hindrance than an enjoyment thing when you're 25 and you're loving it. They probably just want to make money. They probably just want to make a fuckload of money. They want it playing on the radio. They want the big festival bookings. Yeah, that's what they want. They want to earn 10 million quid a year.
Ben,
that's fair. You know, sometimes
it is fair. Yeah, it's totally fair. I get it.
Guys, it was only money.
Yeah, wait till I have fuck you
money.
Exactly.
Yeah, fuck you money. There we go. That's he's Jeremy's telling us that. He's telling us that.
See, like unlike the Bring Me the Horizon song Heavy Metal, where they kind of poke fun at the new fans and the old fans saying, oh, it's not good because it ain't heavy metal, because there's a guy in a Black Dahlia tank who says it ain't heavy metal. So it's like they don't really care. They're kind of joking about it.
We're in their own lane.
Kid in here going like, wait till I have fuck you money is kind of trying to emulate that, but in a really cheap and tasteless way.
Yeah, you're completely right. And you know what? I feel like with this album, it's half-hearted. Like there are some really good songs on it, like Mind Reader. You know, Last Chance to Dance is a good song, and Resentment. But I feel like they're torn, almost like they're conflicted. You know, they want to break away and make this become this Fueled by Raymond Panic at Disco style, but at the same time, some of them it seems like some of them in the band, or maybe even most of them, I don't know, that want to remain doing like Last Chance to Dance, Resentment, for example, or Degenerates, which is their old style in that sense. So I don't know. For me, I feel like if you're gonna go down a new path of music, then do the whole album like that. That's the way I look at it.
I agree, but if
I agree.
Degenerates, I'd rather listen to the Wait Till I Have Fuck You Money song than to Degenerates. Because Degenerates, and I think Ben touched upon this 2 episodes ago when we were talking about Blink-182, and how it's kind of weird for a 40-year-old guy to be there, you know, in a video with school kids.
Doing TikTok dances or whatever it was.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's how I felt with this song, because it's like they're trying to, and maybe it's just to widen their audience and go for that younger kind of angsty teenage audience like we were when we were 16, but it's kind of like all my friends, you know, they're degenerates. It's kind of like, oh yeah, we don't fit in, you know, we're sad emo kids, and that's weird when the guys are like 40 years old. And they did that years ago. Right? So it's totally. Just so weird to me. So I'd rather have them go sell out and do poppy stuff, and I'm not, you know, not to diss them. I still like them, but you guys get what I'm saying. It's like I'd rather them
completely.
That rather than do this kind of weird pop punky angsty emo thing.
For me, Jacopo, it's a mishmash of sounds, isn't it? Really, I think like you've got the heavy songs in there, you've got the Degenerates, and you've got the you've got Last Chance to Dance, but they're all so different. It almost sounds like it almost sounds like one of those like Now 41 playlists almost, because every song they sound so different. There's no real consistency across the whole album, and I don't like that. And like Bad Vibrations was so consistent, and the same with Hosting. Yeah, it's an album. An album is supposed to be gelled, you know, they're gelling together. You know, you'd be able to listen to it from start to finish, and you know this is all part of the same album.
But that's also stuff we were worrying about before, you know, with these songs that came out, like Degenerates again, you know. The singles came out in 2019, one of them came out in 2020. It's like, you know, it's disjointed. It's almost like they wrote few songs before, few songs later. It's like, oh, these are some heavier songs that we have. These are some poppier songs that we have, and they just kind of.
It's exactly that. It's exactly that. We should probably put out an album. Yeah, probably should. To be fair, what have we got? Okay, we've got 5, so we just need to fill 5 more. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
It feels.
Studio
like
Tuesday. Studio on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just bash it out. Then we can fuck off back to our respective mansions and never have to speak to each other until we have to go tour again.
Yeah.
Especially in Florida.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of these songs, and again, we're just going for it with the money one and Degenerates and stuff. But yeah, it almost seems like it's the same guy who wrote Centuries for Fall Out Boy, same guy who wrote Warriors for Atreyu, same guy who wrote whatever for Imagine Dragons and stuff. They're all insane. I don't know.
So, you know what? To wrap it up, I think we're all quite disappointed, aren't we? Really, of that album. However, I think we should go through some of the ratings comparing this album to some of the old albums. So let's start with, and their name was Treason. What we're going to rate that album out of 10? Do you think?
I would rate it quite highly. Probably not
7.
the best work, but it's it's a good album. It's a good debut album. So I think you also have to remember how young they were, and they were a new band. So I think Ben's 7 is fair.
Yeah, I think a 7 out of 10 is fair as well. So I think, I think we're all right on that, 7 out of 10. But for those who have heart, I think for me, they stepped up their game on that album. They didn't change too much. I think they just the production value was better, right, in that sense.
Yeah.
And I think they stepped up the game. So probably for me, it's a 7.5 for those who have heart.
I would still keep it at
an 8.
Really,
Oh, okay.
8. I would
8.
still keep it at a 7 just because, the first one was their debut album, and you expect them to grow, and they did. But I'm not sure if I rate it higher. If I rate it a 7.5, then what do I have to rate Homesick?
Well, wow.
I was going to rate a Homesick even higher, mate.
Yeah,
I'm being quite generous with my ratings.
No, I'm not saying I would rate Homesick 7.5, but I think it's substantially better.
Yes.
And I don't think I would rate it, 9, 10.
No. I would say Homesick is an 8.5.
I was going to rate it 9.
Oh, interesting.
9 for me. If you think about it, like, if we're only basing it on a day to remember, the best one has got to be the highest one, right? So for me, Homesick is...
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, for me, that one is the quintessential album for me, so I'm giving it the highest mark. I'm not giving it a 10.
You know what? You're completely right, actually, Ben. I'm going to rate Homesick a 9 as well in aspects, only because, if I would say it's one of my favorite albums of all time, then 9 out of 10 is fair for that. Then if I rate it an 8, I don't know what I'd give a 9 in that sense.
You have to compare all the music that's been made, right? So we're not just basing it on a day to remember, because if we have a day to remember based rating system, then I guess I'll have to, if you base it on that, then that's a 10. If that's only looking at a day to remember stuff. So that's why I'm thinking globally, it's an album that I like very much. But again, if
I'll do you a deal, Jacopo.
Favorites of all
8.5. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, I think 8.5.
Last Chad.
Take it or leave it.
I personally think 8.5 for me. I think that's a fair vote in that sense.
I don't think it's an 8.5 in global terms, though. Like, No. In terms of all albums that ever came out, I mean, it's not even in the top 1,000,000 albums ever. And I mean, maybe not.
That's the question. What is the top album ever?
The top album ever.
I think it's You're Welcome by A Day to Remember.
Right, it's settled.
No, okay, so Jacopo, all right. Let's do it this way.
Let's vote then.
No, what's good? Just tell me what your votes are, and I'm going to do an average. So it's fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
Well, I've got it all written down. If you want me to.
7, and that's fine, right?
So you're rating Homesick as 7, right?
Oh, we said, and their name was Treason is a 7, and that's fine.
Yeah, 7
What
overall.
are we saying for those who have heart?
Well, I said an 8, but I'm happy to drop that to 7.5 based on what you said, Jacopo, about the ratings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 7.5 is fair. I think it is. It tops, and their name was Treason, but then also at the same time, it's definitely not as good as Homesick in that sense.
Yeah.
So Homesick, Jacopo, what would you rate it out of 10?
8.
8. Fair enough. Ben?
8.5.
Nice. Yeah, I'd probably rate it an 8.5 as well, realistically. So I think that works out to let's say to 8.25 overall. But yeah,
Something like that.
More technically, but yeah.
What separates me from you?
6.
6. Interesting.
I mean, yeah, the ratings are going to get pretty low for me, but I'm gonna go 6 as well.
Oh, interesting. I'm going to go for 7.5 personally because I quite like that album. What about Common Courtesy? I think we dropped down here, don't we?
6.5.
Do you know what?
Actually.
Yeah, 6.5 for me. I was going to say that.
From you.
Yeah, for me, I think it drops down to probably 6.5 as well, because I thought both albums before that were amazing. And then we've got Bad Vibrations in 2016. Jacopo, what do you think?
6.5.
6.5. Fair enough.
6.8.
Oh, I like that.
Not quite a 7, but getting there.
You, Ben, a little bit higher than 6.5, maybe.
Yeah, 6.5. 7 minus or whatever.
yeah.
I'm going with an 8 personally for
Fair enough.
Bad Vibrations, because I really like that album. But what about this album? This is where this is what the show's about, right? This is what the album's about.
One for the first half and one for the second half.
Join them both up, and that gives you.
Yeah, we'll average them. So the beginning's like, I don't know, a 7.5. The end is like a 2, so it'll be like a 4 in total.
Do you know what? I was going to put 4. That's exactly what I was going to rate it, a 4. So I think that works well.
Wow, you both rated it a 4. I'm quite surprised actually, because I mean personally, I think the album's okay. I mean, I like some of the tracks, and I think it's because of Days to Remember. Maybe my objectively, I can't give it anything less than a 5. But I would say it's probably their worst album I've ever heard in that sense. But it's still slick, isn't it? And it's still catchy at times. So I would say probably a 5.5 for me.
That's fair. I mean, but like I said, there are some good songs. Like Mind Reader is a cool song, and I will listen to it for sure. But it's just some of the songs on there are generic pop songs, and that's it. And
yeah.
If another band does them, I'm going to rate it probably a bit higher, but because it's A Day to Remember, I expect more. Because I expect nothing from Brendan Urie. I don't mind that he does well and he does massive pop songs, but I expect more from, someone who had the honor to collaborate with August Burns Red.
Yeah,
fair enough. Sense. I think that's a good way of summing it up, to be honest.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I'm just working out all the scores now, really. So we've got 7 for And Their Name Was Treason, as a vote between us. For Those Who Have Heart, we've got a 7.5, and then it goes up on an average score of 8.3 for Homesick. And then we have 6.5 for What Separates Me From You. And we got another 6.5 for Common Courtesy as well. However, for Bad Vibrations, it does change slightly because of my score of an 8. That makes it 7.1, so it goes up a bit like that. But realistically, You're Welcome comes down to a really, really sad 4.5. And that's, you know what? It's sad. It's sad, isn't it, really? And it kind of upsets me that A Day to Remember have released such a meh album, because, you know, three of us, they're an important band to us, an important band to who we are and our history and our memories in that sense. So it's disappointing.
Yeah, I think it's just a bit of a patchwork of different ideas. It's a bit disjointed. And if they'd stuck with some of these songs, like kept Mind Reader, for example, kept Brick Wall, Last Chance to Dance, you know, there are some good songs in there. So I think if they'd done a maybe more patient job, we're not just about putting an album out. I mean, you've waited for 5 years. Wait a little longer and write a proper album.
Yeah.
This seems almost like a collection of singles and other songs that are... It's like a couple of singles and B-sides, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something I was saying earlier. I feel like, you know, Viva La Mexico is a B-side song. It is. It doesn't sound like a...
generic. It's like a generic tribute Green Day band with like the Viva La Bam, you know, kind of like...
Yeah.
Kind of like 2005 MTV guys, you know what I'm saying? It's like...
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. Well, that was really, really interesting. I think we all share similar points, don't we? But next week we're going to be covering the entirety of the Jonas Brothers hit singles, followed by Miley Cyrus.
No, Kelly Clarkson.
Well, Cyrus
because we pissed off their fan base.
KC.
No, but
KC.
Miley Cyrus, please, guys, go out there and listen to her cover of Jolene by Dolly Parton, because
I've heard it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
I think to finish up, that Jacopo and I would have to agree. Jacopo and I would have to agree that the best A Day to Remember song is Ghosts by August Burns Red, with featuring Jeremy McKinnon.
Exactly.
Sorry, it is the best A Day to Remember song. No. To be fair, it is a fantastic song, and Jeremy McKinnon is amazing.
Let's say that's the best song Jeremy McKinnon has sung in.
We always go back to August Burns Red.
Always. All roads lead back to August.
They're just a superior level of band. I mean, I'm sorry to everyone else. And there are some others, like, you know, I'm going to put Nick Cave higher than August Burns Red if you put a gun to my head. But, you know, I think August Burns Red has never put out an album that looked like this. You know, all of their albums are extremely well thought out. It's also like we were saying, that's last quick point before we finish this off. We were speaking about the graphic design in August Burns Red albums last week. And I think it's quite interesting if you also look at these, both with You're Welcome, Homesick, What Separates Me From You. I think it's in the S, you see this character. They've kept this character going on all their album covers.
Yeah. That's true.
It's interesting. So they do have that as well. But again, it almost seems like everything's a bit stitched together with them. And that's why, you know, comparing them to August Burns Red, I think is fair. Because they've been around for a similarly long time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the others have always put out really consistent, high-quality stuff.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's a good note to end on. And you know what? For me, I'm curious to see what their next album will be like, whether they're going to continue down this sort of route, or they're going to continue, or maybe try and find the new sort of sound, and maybe moving away from this metal, the post-hardcore and the pop-punk aspect, and go down that Panic at Disco, Fall Out Boy sort of vibe. So next up will be a playlist from us over the weekend, so keep an eye out for that.
And actually including someone I've mentioned a few times in this podcast. I wonder if you can guess who that will be.
August Burns Red.
No.
Jeremy McKinnon.
Say it. It's Nick Cave, but
Of course. Oh god, I'm looking forward to that actually because I haven't listened to Nick Cave for a long time.
So my selections for the next podcast are all the stuff that Mike really loves.
I'm curious.
I'm doing this on purpose, so there will be some surprises, I think, for me.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Well,
what about your guys? Do you have any ideas on what it's gonna be? A little preview that you can give.
Oh, I've actually got 2 tracks that I've chosen that are from bands that you don't know yet. One is a Finnish metal band that are so cool. They're almost like Steel Panther core. It's cool. It's really cool. Yeah, and it's something and the sound I've never really heard before, and that's why I really want to showcase it. And we'll talk about that over the weekend. But the next one is by a band called Yonika. I don't know if you guys know of them. They're really cool. Very, I would say they're you can tell they're very much 2021. It's quite poppy sounding, but there's a lot of rock and metal in the background. It's really, really cool. It's a cool sound. I think you guys will really dig it, and I'm looking forward to sharing it. And they're both like new bands that are really up and coming. Yonika are the kind of band that are really on the verge of breaking the UK, I would say, and they are a British band. But the other band that I was talking about, the Finnish band, they're really new and people don't really know them very much, and they're quite popular within the Finnish scene. But yeah, I'm excited to share them. I'm excited to share it.
Cool. Well, mine I haven't even put together yet, but they're going to be straight bangers. Straight up bangers.
Yeah. I like it. That's it. Straightforward. Done.
Straight bangers. 10 out of 10s with a lot. Good stuff. All right,
well, I'm looking forward to catching up with you guys next time, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what your tracks will be. So, thanks so much for listening, everyone, and see you next time.